In Hollywood, a flop can feel like failure,
You know, nobody ever had a hold on me the way you did. I would have done anything for you.
but sometimes a movie takes years, decades even, to heal, to be re-seen and redefined. These aren't misfires erased by time. They're films that found their tribe, carved out their own resonance, and flipped their reputations in ways no one saw coming.
So what do you want to talk to me about?
I got a lot to say to you, Tom.
No, you don't. You have nothing to say to me.
What once sank off the charts became cultural treasure. This is the story of 7 80s flops that refused to stay forgotten and ended up beloved long after their initial premieres. Streets of Fire, 1984. The movie establishes a neon-drenched world where abandoned Studebakers rumble through city streets and rock music blares over close-up edits, introducing Tom Cody, a leather-clad loner returning home to rescue Ellen Aim from gang warlord Raven.
After I take care of Cody, there'll be no more trouble.
Diane Lane was just 19 when she took the role. Already a rising star, but still young enough to be finishing high school through correspondence while filming.
Somebody told me you just graduated from high school.
Got my ring.
Is that true?
Got my ring. Got it in the mail, but
Can
I
I
got
see?
it.
What do you mean? Can I see your high school? What high school is that?
It's called Quintano's School for Young Professionals.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And you had to get it by mail because you couldn't be there, or what?
That's right. I've been out here. This is the 5-month anniversary date of the start of the film, Streets of Fire.
Its original darker knife fight finale, where Cody kills Raven, was replaced by studio decision to soften the ending and maintain the hero's honor, reshaping a moment that could have been brutal and ambiguous into something more conventional. But the climactic sledgehammer duel remains one of the film's most brutal and sculpted sequences. Tom versus Raven in slow-motion impact, hammer swings echoing off interchangeable city blocks. Studios struggled to package a film that blended rock and roll revenge, romantic rescue, gang violence, and comic book fantasy, and audiences didn't warm to the mix in 1984, leaving it stranded at the box office. A planned trilogy centered on Cody never happened. When Road to Hell appeared in 2008, it was made without the involvement of original creators, and Michael Pere has said he was misled into participating. Still, midnight screenings and VHS tape swaps kept it alive. The concert scene photography, the saturation, the swagger, it all made Streets of Fire a cult aesthetic, a film remembered for charisma and atmosphere more than clarity or closure. Big Trouble in Little China, 1986. The film plays like a Western in modern guise. Cocky trucker Jack Burton accidentally plunges into San Francisco's Chinatown underworld,
Pay up $1,148 times 2.
Yeah, I don't have that kind of money, Jack.
where he encounters ancient sorcery, kung fu battles, and demon sorcerers far beyond his usual CB radio bravado. It started life as an 1880s Western with a stolen horse, but was retooled into a modern martial arts-laced adventure, still keeping the archetypal lone hero motif.
This story takes place at modern-day times in a big city in the United States, and what we do with the audience is start them in reality and slowly take them into the fantasy.
On set, Kurt Russell filmed through a vicious flu, yet you can almost see the sweat dripping in every take. It wasn't special effects, it was real exhaustion and dedication. John Carpenter originally wanted Jackie Chan as Burton's sidekick, but the studio brought in Dennis Dunn because Chan's English skills were perceived as insufficient for a U.S. lead role, though Dunn brought solid charm and groundedness to the part. It made only $11 million on a $23 million budget, lost against blockbusters like Aliens, Ferris Bueller, and Top Gun, and critics chalked it up to tonal confusion. But over time, its playful mix of kung fu, humor, mythic fight scenes, and the magical six-demon bag became legendary. The Adventures of Buckaroo Banzai, 1984. Picture this, a brain surgeon who's also a rock star and physicist, saving the world from interdimensional alien invaders together with his eclectic crew of Banzai fans and slightly unhinged adventurers.
Let her out.
Hey, me too.
Let her out.
Yeah, let her out. I'll be responsible.
The laboratory-filmed meeting, the colorful bomber jackets, the pseudoscience jargon, it all felt like a fever dream, and mainstream audiences just didn't follow it. But its star-studded ensemble, Peter Weller, John Lithgow, Jeff Goldblum, Christopher Lloyd, gave it weight and celebration, even in eccentricity. The sly tease of a sequel, Buckaroo Banzai against the World Crime League, never materialized, fueling speculation and fan devotion about what might have been. Over the decades, it's inspired comic spin-offs, fan essays, t-shirt lines, conventions, and even attempted TV series, but always remained resolutely obscure. It's one of those films that rewards being baffled. The deeper you go, the more the absurdity becomes its own logic, like a sci-fi folktale that teaches you how to want to believe. Flash Gordon, 1980. Here's a live-action comic strip come alive. Prince Flash, the fearless Earthling, Dale, the loyal love interest, Ming the merciless, the gaudy over-the-top villain, all set to Queen's bombastic synth-driven rock opera.
Don't you love me?
I don't trust you.
On set, Sam J. Jones and the producers disagreed enough that his lines were eventually redubbed, giving the finished scenes an uncanny echo like a comic book hero memorizing lines from memory. Max von Sydow played Ming with a mix of theatrical weight and unintentional parody, but he fully committed and somehow made it work. It flopped in US theaters, but overseas, especially in the UK, it found a second life. People showed up for the wild visuals, the offbeat humor, and its strange, sincere charm. Its neon pastel design, over-the-top costumes, and Queen's soundtrack did what camp does best. They invited you to not take it seriously, just experience it fully. For all its out-there style, Flash Gordon proved that bold color and total commitment can keep a flop alive and even turn it into something lasting. Repo Man, 1984. It's the story of Otto, a punk kid who stumbles into the world of repossessing cars, one of which holds mysterious glowing promethium said to bring ruin or revelation.
Ain't gonna be no Repo Man, no way.
It's too late. You already are.
Emilio Estevez gives a blend of detached sarcasm and freedom dreaming. Harry Dean Stanton is the weary mentor who's seen it all. Together they guide audiences through satire on the 80s obsession with suburban forms, Cold War tension, and conspiracy. Studios didn't understand it and dropped marketing support too weird for the mainstream. But punk venues, midnight screenings, and mixtape swaps kept Repo Man breathing. Its punk rock soundtrack, spiky dialogue, and ironic distance became fundamental. This wasn't just a movie, it was a cultural statement. Its influence has snuck into music videos, indie films, academic essays, and even fashion. It speaks louder than many bigger-budget sci-fi attempts. A flop that found moral and cultural gravity in the underground, staying weird and relevant on its own terms. Xanadu, 1980. A pastel-drenched fairy tale where a Greek muse inspires a guy's artistic ambitions, then steps into roller disco must-skip routines and musical interludes. Critics tore it apart for being too camp, too odd, too stuffed with musical numbers and lines that never land.
Did you realize at the time when you were making it and this script rewriting was going on that things were beginning to fall apart?
Well, I kind of had a clue when we arrived one morning and the director, we had had lines the night before. He came in with new lines, then came in and said that nobody liked them and sent us home. I mean, it was very bad. The writing was not good, the story had no following, and the director was writing the script as we went along.
At release, it looked like a glitter coat flop, with audiences walking out faster than the skates hit the floor. But the soundtrack? That was another story. Olivia Newton-John's hits like magic soared to the top of the charts, while the Electric Light Orchestra's title track hit #1 in the UK and became a worldwide sensation.
At the moment, you've got the #1 hit in England with Xanadu, and in Europe, a #1 hit with Xanadu. In America, you're the #1 hit with Magic. And in Australia, you've got Magic going up the charts and Don't Cry For Me Argentina, which is also going into the charts.
It's really tough at the moment.
Yes, it must be.
Even museum pieces and remix shows used its roller rink fantasy visuals, turning Xanadu into a camp touchstone. It reminds us that a self-aware excess, when dripping sincerity, can transform a flop into a legend, as long as someone's willing to dance with it. They Live, 1988. Nada is a drifter, anonymous and overlooked, until he finds sunglasses that shatter his reality and reveal a hidden world.
You see, I take these glasses off, she looks like a regular person, doesn't she, huh? Put them back on, formaldehyde face. That's what we got. That's enough out of you.
Behind the lenses, every billboard screams commands, money whispers loyalty, and familiar faces turn skeletal, revealing the alien rulers hiding in plain sight, controlling society through quiet hypnosis.
We don't need pessimism. There are no limits.
It figures it would be something like this.
Director John Carpenter didn't conjure this out of nowhere. He adapted it from a 1963 short story and a mid-80s comic book, then filmed in real locations to ground the paranoia in a reality people were already living. The homeless encampment in the movie wasn't fiction, it was a real community. And Carpenter paid actual residents to be extras. The message wasn't subtle. These aliens weren't just invaders, they were metaphors for class division, corporate power, and political manipulation. Critics dismissed the movie on release, calling it ham-fisted or paranoid. Some groups twisted its themes for agendas Carpenter never intended, forcing him to publicly denounce them. Despite opening at #1 with $4.8 million, They Live quickly lost steam, ending with just $13.4 million domestically on a $3 million budget. But time did what critics couldn't. That 6-minute alley fight became a touchstone. The quote, "I'm here to chew bubblegum and kick ass," became pop legend. The film didn't just survive, it transformed. From box office underperformer to midnight classic, They Live Now stands as one of Carpenter's most prophetic films.